Apples in America. From idioms about apple pies to being the second largest producer of them worldwide, apples play a unique part in US history. But there's one apple product that's gone from mass popularity in the colonial era to near obscurity today: Applejack. So what happened? What caused a drink from a fruit not even native to the continent to become the most popular booze in America, and then decline until only recently one company was even producing it? The answer is very much linked to the growth and development of the US. The type of apples that are typically eaten or brewed were brought over when the first colonies that would eventually become the US were founded. Amongst the other crops brought over from Europe, apple trees would spread throughout the continent as the colonies expanded. One of the most famous people known for helping spread apples was the American folk hero Johnny Appleseed, born John Chapman. John Chapman helped spread apple trees to Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, Illinois, and West Virginia. Contrary to the folklore image of him just randomly spreading apple seeds, what he actually did was start nurseries in the American frontier. At this time, to lay claim to a plot of land in the frontier, one of the requirements was to plant 50 apple trees. Knowing this, Chapman was then able to sell his apple seedlings from his nurseries to the arriving settlers. A follower of the New Church, Chapman was a strict vegetarian. Part of his beliefs also disallowed grafting, as it was seen as causing suffering to the plants. However, most apples are produced via the grafting method, where the stem of an adult tree is attached to the rootstock, allowing you to effectively clone a tree and prevent any variation of taste to the new tree's apples. Because Chapman didn't graft, his trees were largely unfit for eating, but could be used for making hard cider and Applejack. The widespread popularity of these hard beverages at this time was a result of the isolation of the early settlers. With limited access to other beverages, and often even to clean water, locally produced apple beverages was the best option they had. The wane in its popularity is largely linked to America's own development. As former frontiers evolved and became more developed, access to other beverages increased. Grain became more available and ended up becoming a cheaper method of producing hard beverages. Popularity declined as hard cider and Applejack got replaced by cheaper to produce beer and whiskey. Then, in the 1920s, Prohibition gave the near death blow to these beverages. Many of the trees Chapman himself had planted were destroyed by the US government when they cut down any apple trees that could only be used to produce alcoholic beverages. Today, hard cider and Applejack are only just now starting to return in popularity. Now understanding the history of it, what exactly is Applejack and how do you make it? Applejack is made from hard cider by concentrating the level of alcohol in it in a method called freeze distilling. The method is actually pretty simple. The only real equipment that's actually needed is a cold winter. Unfortunately, it's been rather mild this year, so we'll just have to use a freezer. There's actually some ambiguity about the legality of making Applejack yourself, so I decided to let Chris handle this one. Using the hard cider we had previously brewed, he left it to freeze overnight. He then inverted the frozen liquid over a container and let the alcohol seep out of the ice in a syrupy caramel color. You can repeat this a few more times to increase the strength even more. So we have here is some of the hard cider we brewed previously, and now they've been jacked and distilled into various concentrations. So the first one here is some of the stuff we brewed before. This is distilled 3 times, and this one's been distilled 5 times. So potentially you get around 20 to 40% alcohol. Our first foray into distilling, hopefully won't get arrested or go blind from this. All right, we'll start with the regular hard cider. Yeah, hard cider, bit sour.
Yeah, this normal cider, nothing too special about it. It's about the strength of a good beer.
All right, this is the 3 times distilled. Oh, it's no alcohol already.
Ooh.
Ooh. Oh wow, that is strong. That is definitely stronger than the standard hard cider. I'd say maybe like a strong wine.
I'm sure a full glass of this would do the job for me, seeing that I'm a lightweight.
Let's try the 5 times distilled one.
The last one is sweeter, it's smoother.
For some reason this one's just a little bit more smoother. Maybe it's got more of the extra flavoring got distilled into it or something.
I don't think this did anything besides remove a little more water and make it slightly more cloudier. As you can see, there's not much of a color difference in either one.
So overall, I'd say they're pretty good. There's obvious limitations to how much you can distill it because they're standard distilling, you can actually get all the way to pure alcohol, I believe. This, not so much.
kind of the limit.
A lot of the cider was probably wasted in this process, but ultimately, if you're looking for a quick way to get drunk, freeze your booze over and over again.
Not the strongest, but it's definitely harder than standard cider, and I think it turned out pretty good. So I looked it up for the legality of it, and like generally sounds like it's illegal, but I doubt anybody even cares. I mean, after this, I'm gonna call the cops on Chris and see if anybody shows up.